everybody, this is Berzer, Murderin, the Clown, however you guys call me, your guildmaster. I'm here to show you a Battleground build for the warrior class. First of all, I will start by pointing a few things. I'm pretty sure you guys might not have all those ability points and might not have atomic slash up to tier 8 from your matrix like I do. So we'll exclude atomic slash for now, and for your basic build you will most likely have enough points to get the relentless strikes at base tier and the ripsaw at tier 4. So your battleground build should look something like this when it comes to skill points. Foremost, let's start with relentless strike. Why relentless strike? Because it's kind of the cousin of atomic slash, but atomic slash is the improved version of it. You need to build kinetic energy for sure when you hit people, so this is the main function of it. Leap, of course, you have to have leap, and if you're getting CC too much, you could use the T4. But I don't use it since I'm used to kiting and, you know, just doing what you have to do, being the melee and exactly doing the havoc and killing people real quick. Whirlwind, tier 8, no explanation on this one, you know very well why. Tremor, the same thing, it applies some good amount of dot and increase the charge to 2, it's self-explanatory, you know what I mean. You're going to use the Ripsaw build because of course you are going to have to overload your shield in the beginning, that's why you use T4 Ripsaw in the beginning. An augmented blade, which gives you and stacks damage over time, and in the beginning you have a good lifesteal amount of burst. As I say it, when you burst you could technically heal yourself up straight to full if you do it right. So next, in the support section we have nothing for the battleground build. You could technically take some bum rush, but you don't really need it. For people who also are getting CC'd a lot and, you know, can't survive that much at this point or so far, you could take off the augmented blade and change it with unstoppable force, which is another break free sort of CC effect, and you actually gain freedom, which will make you immune to effects for 3.2 seconds. Now let's continue with the amps. Most of you should probably have around 58, whatever, depending where you are on your farming with the amps. But this is how my amp looks like. Now, sprinting is very important with this build because of this very amp. Kinetic drive builds 45 kinetic energy over 0.25 seconds while sprinting in combat. This is very important. You could technically engage in combat and just sprint, get your kinetic rage to full, keep your augmented blade at the same time, and straight go on them with a full augmented blade charges just before you do your innate. So you basically do your combo, go with them while you're stacking your kinetic and all that stuff, and then when you have your kinetic, your augmented blade at near maximum stacks or as much as you can, when you see your kinetic energy starting to go down, you're going to go with that innate, which would continue, which will make your kinetic energy go up to maximum for 8 seconds or so, and you could still continue delivering the best burst that you could possibly do. It's all AoE, so I go into the gear at the moment just to show you what is happening over here. So about runing, I'll explain you something very easy to understand. Here you have a brawler rune, which is a 1-point brawler rune for the 3-8, and here we have the 2-point. We're going to use 2 of those in pretty much every single of the pieces of our gear, and here are the devastation. So here we got 4-6 devastation and 3-8 brawler. How you do that? You use 1-point brawler rune with a 2-point brawler rune, and 2-point devastation with another 2-point devastation. Why I'm using detonation? You'd probably ask what is it. Your damage attacks have 10% chance to detonate, dealing it's usually around 1000 damage to the target and 4 falls within 4 meters of the target. All of our damage is AoE. What that means is the chances of us proccing detonation are so big that I usually get 100 procs by a Battleground, maybe more sometimes, and the damage done usually equals about 5 to 8% out of my total damage, which is huge when it comes to that. And as you know, every single of we're heavily stacked on critical hit severity, and we have a good amount of critical hit chance. So to continue with the gear, here we're using 5/6 Devastation and a 3/8 Brawler. What that means, we're going to add a extra critical hit severity 1 point rune on the Devastation runes for the set. Here we're using the Rage and the same setup, 3/8 Brawler, Devastation 4/6. Here I'm using a 5/6 Devastation and a 4/8 Brawler for the, of course, the Brawler when you the fourth set bonus of Brawler. When you land a class CC action on your target, deal technology damage every 1 second for 5 seconds and restore that amount is life. Also generates 5 kinetic energy per tick, which this is very important to use it. But I use it in the glass cannon way. I'll explain you why I'm not using the 8/8 on this one. It's for another situation, so let me get to that in just a moment. Here are the boots, gonna use Quick Feet, the same situation, Brawler 3/8, Devastation 4/6. Here we're using 5/6 Devastation and 3/8, so you just stack that critical hit severity. Here, 4/6 Devastation, 3/8 Brawler, and you're gonna use Blood Rage, Fusion Rune. Extra damage, of course, it's always fun to use, and extra lifesteal. There you go, nothing else to explain on this one. The gadget. Break free, best gadget in the world. Break all CC and grabs absorb for 5 seconds. It's a wonderful thing to do. Now, situational items, such as this. Field Commander 4/8 and Devastation 5/6. What that means that you're going to use Field Commander does this. Reduce the cooldown of Emergency Reserve by 50% when used out of combat. Emergency Reserves also restore 30% of your HP. This is mostly a 1v1 setup because you're going to use Emergency Reserves a lot to get your shield back. Because I am using this lovely shield, which is a 60% shield mitigation one, and it's 2.7 seconds shield reboot time, which is great. You have to use, well, not you have to, some people use 25% mitigation, but I personally love this one. It makes you more tankier, and when you combine it with all the rest of the stuff that you got, it's very good to use. Here, when you're getting CC'd a lot or in Battlegrounds, most people, tend to go 8/8 Brawler, which is a good thing. What would the 8/8 do? Is reduce CC duration by 40%, which is an amazing thing as well. So, continue through with this. Now, if you guys have more ability points and can get to the point that you can actually put tier 8 atomic in here, you could go with this setup for full damage. This is not endgame build, because the endgame build is actually Smackdown, because it will reset the cooldown of your Tremor on your burst, and you'll be able to cast Tremor 6 times in a row if done properly. About the amps, very simple. There's those who don't have, just take off those two, and maybe one of, yeah, you can take off this one in case, but then just glass cannon, so whatever, it's about those kind of amps. You can always tweak them around a little bit, pick up energy banks if you think you need some health and all that stuff, regenerating in Battlegrounds. I don't find it necessary in BGs, but it's always fun to have. But when you use a mounted blade, you don't really need it, but it's just gonna make you more standing, and how you call that, just more, not tanky, that I forget the word, sustainable. There you go. So this is quite it for the Battleground build. About Matrix, there's just a few things to say. Take your atomic slash tier 4, tier 8 from those, and then just grab the ability points, because you will need them more than the amps at first. That I can assure you. Get your critical hit and critical hit severity, very important. And I think this is about it when it comes to the Battleground build. If you have any questions, please let me know in the Discord. This video will be there. I'll be there for you guys to answer all your questions. And if you ask me about what the fuck is all those gear and why the hell am I not cleaning my stuff over here, is because, don't even ask. I can't really answer that. It's sad. I know, I have to fix my inventory. But it's okay, guys. This is it from me. Any other questions, you know, just ask me around. The usual critical hit chance is around 20%, you know, because of the setup. It's more about crit severity based, because you need that critical hit severity. Everything is AoE, so you will crit a lot. You will get a lot of breaching strike procs as well. You will see why it hits so hard and why the AoE is so high once you take a look at this build. Alright folks, I wish you a great day. Peace!